It's Randy Orton. Oh,
I have voices in my head. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me.
Hey guys, what's up? Mr. B209 here, and I'm back with episode 10 of WWE Missed Opportunities. I haven't done this for a while, just simply because I haven't really had time to make one of these kind of episodes, but I'm back, and I thought episode 10 should be a special one. And I think going forward as well, what I'll do is, from now on, I'll hold a poll for who the next episode should be on. I'm not going to do it on Twitter, though. I think that was kind of a mistake, because not everyone's going to be able to use Twitter. What I'll do is, in the description, down below, I'll put a link to a poll online that I made, and then you can vote on the 4 options for who the next episode should be on. That way more people can vote, because I know not everyone has Twitter, so it's just a bit unfair, and it's just easier as well to just click the link in the below, and then you can vote for who you think I should do next. So today's episode is on DDP. He won my Twitter poll vote with more than half the vote. So that's, you know, that's a big result. So I thought, you know what, the majority of people want to see DDP, so here's DDP. So DDP was a very big star in WCW. He got into wrestling quite late into his life. He was in like his late 30s, I think, when he started to get into professional wrestling, and that's when he came into WCW. And the guy was a multiple-time WCW champion. He's definitely one of the top guys at the time in WCW around 98, 99. And unfortunately, he was involved in that stupid David Arquette angle. It wasn't his fault, obviously, but you know. But the guy was the equivalent to The Rock in terms of being like the people's champ. He had the diamond cutter, which was kind of, you know, that move that could be hit at like anytime, anywhere, kind of like, you know, it still is now with Randy Orton using the RKO. DDP was really over in WCW, and you know, he was going into the WWF invasion in 2001. He was probably the biggest name, along with Booker T, to actually come onto the WWF roster, and he was criminally underused, and definitely a big missed opportunity in my eyes. I think this might be the biggest missed opportunity, arguably, in this series so far. I think it's definitely up for debate. I mean, so he came in 2001. They were doing these vignettes of someone stalking the Undertaker's wife. Yeah, I know, it's very weird. Not just like, it's very odd, not just this whole stalking idea, but also the fact that at the time he was married to Kimberly Page, who was extremely hot, like hotter than the Undertaker's wife at the time. And that's no shot at the Undertaker's, you know, wife at the time, but it's just, I think Kimberly Page is a lot more attractive. I think a lot of people would agree, but you know, so that was kind of a bit off at the start. And then I'll admit, the moment when DDP like revealed himself as a stalker, that was actually pretty cool. Like, he took the mask off, it was him. Everyone was like, "Oh shit, it's DDP," you know, that's awesome. And then he had a feud with the Undertaker, which sounds good on paper, right? You know, these are 2 top guys. But DDP was just completely made to look a fool in this entire feud. Like, every turn, he just got the crap beaten out of him. At King of the Ring, when they confronted each other in 2001, Undertaker just beat the crap out of him. At SummerSlam, him and Kanyon teamed up against the Brothers of Destruction as Steel Cage. They lost. And even on a Raw, I think Sarah, the Undertaker's wife, pinned DDP. Like, the guy just was made to look completely weak. And then I think for the rest of the invasion, he didn't really do much at all. And then towards the end of his WWF run, he did get a run with the European title. He had a feud with Christian, and they had a match at WrestleMania 28, which he won. But really, he done nothing. He did nothing in WWE, WWF, I should say, at the time. And then, however, his impact later on, after he retired, actually, I think, solidified himself as a wrestling legend in the eyes of WWE. Anyway, in terms of what he's done to help out people like Jake Roberts and Scott Hall and the whole DDP thing, like. DDP is someone who, over the past few years, I've come across more in like interviews and stuff, and he's someone that I've actually gained a lot of respect for. Like, I've listened to a couple of interviews with him, and he just seems like such a really awesome guy. And he, you know, like, as I said, the stuff he did with Jake Roberts and Scott Hall was amazing, and you know, he should really be credited for that. But the guy was a very good talent. Like, I think, and DDP has mentioned this himself. Like, he really wanted to do an angle when he first came into the WWE, like with The Rock, doing like the People's Champ versus the People's Champ, and you know what, I think it's been awesome going into SummerSlam. You know, the People's Champ from WCW and the People's Champ from WWF. It would have been an awesome matchup, and you know, I know Brock versus Booker T was actually a good SummerSlam match, and I do like Booker T, but I think DDP and The Rock were very similar in terms of what their character was in their respective companies, and I just think the dynamics of the feud would have been much better. Both them like cutting promos on each other and stuff. I just think it would have been amazing. But instead, we had a feud with the Undertaker, which I wouldn't have minded the Undertaker feud if they'd used him properly and made him seem like a threat to the Undertaker. But he was just completely ruined. And you know, I came in and he was a big name, and you could have capitalized on that. But instead, you know, and how are WWF fans supposed to take these WCW guys seriously? Especially, this is like this guy from WCW over to WWF, and they treat him so badly. Like, how are the fans supposed to take anyone seriously from WCW if they're treating one of their guys like that? You know, it blew my mind how poorly they treated DDP, because there was so much potential. Like, again, he could have feuded with The Rock, could have feuded with so many of the top guys. You know, the guy, DDP, was actually very talented, but I don't really think he gets his due. I think he's definitely one of the more underrated wrestlers. You know, there's a classic kind of WWF mentality of, you know, making WCW look bad in order to put over the WWF, which I just think was stupid. And it's a real shame, because there's so much just wasted potential with DDP, and I think we really could have got some awesome dream matches that we just never got, and it's just, and it was a real shame, and you could just tell from interviews and stuff the frustration with DDP with that, and that he's actually really learned from that kind of mistake of just going with the flow, and how he would have changed, and because I've seen interviews with him, how he's saying he would have changed the way that he to the approach of being like, here's my idea, take it or leave it, that sort of thing. And I think the WWF would have gone through with it, because DDP, they knew DDP was a big name in WCW. They wanted to hold on to him. I think DDP understands that if he just was a bit more kind of demanding, he would have actually got more out of it, instead of just I don't like to use the word this often, but it kind of was a burial, really. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of WWE Missed Opportunities. As I said before, in the description I'll put a poll for which wrestler you'd like to see me do next. The options for the wrestlers will be in there, and you can submit your answers there. So anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and if you haven't already, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, follow me on AskScottFM, and thanks for watching, guys.